Hi, welcome back to another episode of Corporate Shift. Turner. I am the spiritual advisor here at Corporate Hippie Connection. I'm thrilled to have you here and be talking about this really important stuff with you, especially as we enter into this incredible new age. It is so important to work our passion, to do what we love, to bring our gifts out into the world. And energy is a really important part of that. So I'm very happy to be here helping to educate you and converse with you about the energetics of business and the energetics of creativity and passion. So thank you so much. Today we're going to talk about communication. Communication is very important, as we know. And what I'm going to talk about, not so much the content of communication, because I think we kind of get that, like we know what we need to talk to each other about. I want to talk about the way we communicate, how important it is to communicate correctly, especially within the confines of our passion, of our business. Last week we talked about triggers. Okay, we just touched on triggers a little bit when we're triggered. And so this is sort of an add-on to that, talking about communicating when we're in difficult conflict situations or highly charged emotional situations. For you, with your endeavors and how important they are to you as, them being who you are, your baby, it's really important to be super conscious about the way you communicate to others and how you set the tone for others to communicate with you, all right? So the first thing I'll bring up is texting. In this day and age, texting is the easiest thing. We fire off text without thinking about it. I personally love texting. I tell my students and my clients, like, text me, don't call me. If you call me, I'm gonna throw the phone. But that's just my introverted self. But that doesn't mean that I don't talk to people. What I say is text me and then we'll set up a call, if we have to have an important conversation. It's so easy to misconstrue text messages based on what's going on with our own energy. Because when somebody sends you a text message, you're not feeling them. You're not feeling their energy. You're not looking at their body language. You're not really understanding them. And if you're in a place where maybe you're having a rough day, you're, got some other stuff going on, you're distracted, somebody can send you a text and to them it's fairly innocuous and just, shooting out some information. To you, it could land really hard and create a trigger, okay? And the other thing is with texting, do not text when you're in conflict. When you know you're in conflict, don't do it. It's really easy to do it, especially when you're triggered and you don't necessarily want to face people. It's really easy to try and sort that over text or email. Written words like that, they don't convey what needs to be conveyed. They don't give you the opportunity to hold space, to create a container of loving community that you have established in your business, you've established in your organization already. It completely loses that foundation when you're texting back and forth. And again, I know it's easy, but if you find yourself in a text war, the best thing to do really is to lay a boundary and say, hey, I want to talk to you about this in person or on the phone. Let's set up a time to do that. And like I said in my last video, when you're triggered, it's a really good idea to give yourself a couple of days to feel into your own process, to identify what's really going on, why you are triggered, not what the other person's done wrong, but why you are triggered, why you are feeling the way that you're feeling. Very important to give yourself that space and then show up and communicate to each other. Now let's talk about when you are communicating in person. We established that texting is a no-go when you're needing to have a real conversation. And I'm really talking about high to highly charged situations, like conflict situations, but also anything really passionate. Like if you have this great idea, and you want to text it out to everybody, your whole team, because you think it's just brilliant. Don't. It's not going to land the same way as when you're having the conversation and your people can read and feel your energy and read your body language and feel your passion and feel your enthusiasm. With high conflict situations, you want people to feel your passion and you want them to feel your love, and people want to be seen. So let's talk about how to communicate in a situation that is highly charged, okay? Conflict situation. First of all, make sure you let the other person be seen. Sometimes people are going to have to vomit a little bit. Do your best not to take it personally. When you're responding to people, start with a validation and then your truth. Validate that person's experience and then speak your truth, and follow that pattern. If you feel overwhelmed during the conversation, If you're really sensitive, like I'm really sensitive, so I feel a lot of people's energy. So when I'm in a high conflict situation, I go, oh, sometimes I feel like I don't know what to say in the moment. I feel sort of gummed up. Give yourself the gift of saying to the person, hang on, give me a minute. Let me feel into that. And then take the pressure off, feel into it, and speak your truth from there. Feel free to bring a notebook and write down what the person said to you, so that you're writing down what they said and you're not just regurgitating to yourself what you think you heard, which may be feeding a trigger. Okay, so try and get really clear, and always open and close the container with love. Even if the conversation is around moving away from each other or shifting responsibilities or shifting directions, that's okay. I want you to remember that energy is always expanding. And when you're in your business, your organization, your creative passion, the energy is always expanding and energy is shifting, and it can make for some chaos, and that's okay. Chaos is the precursor to creation. All right, all possibilities are available in chaos. So when you're dealing with people who you're working with, when you're dealing with people who are showing up to support you, or you're showing up to support, just remember to come with love. Remember that your triggers are your own. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the person behaved perfectly. It doesn't, but they're probably triggered too. So your triggers are your own. Feel your feelings. Come to the conversation in a container of love, with a foundation of love and community, which I'm sure you're setting up already for your business. That is the foundation that you need for open and honest communication. And then validate and speak your truth. Don't steamroll people. Validate their experience and speak your truth, and allow them to do the same for you. Take your time, breathe. You don't have to answer within the first nanosecond of somebody else's response. You can take 5 seconds, 10 seconds, a minute to breathe, and then speak your truth. I hope that's been helpful for you. Communication is really important, but it's more than just what you say. It's in how you say it. It's in how you show up and the energy you bring to the table. Thank you so much. Share with us your thoughts, your impressions, your experiences with communicating within the container of your business, your organization, and tell us how it's gone for you. Is there something that you've learned that you can share with us, like don't do that? Or are there tools and practices that you put into place that you find really work for you? Because we'd love to know. We're all learning from each other. Thank you so much. I adore you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next week.